Hello everyone, it's Dom here from Esports News UK. I'm joined by WaXeN. So, first of all, how's it going, WaXeN? You're doing the casting here for the Valorant at Epic 41.
Valorant, a bit of Counter-Strike, and it's been going amazing. This is my first Epic LAN in person. It's a tournament that I've been following over the years on and off, especially when I was younger back home in Romania. And I always loved the, bring your own computer type vibe, something that we didn't have back home. And I would always watch the events in Copenhagen and obviously Epic LAN itself, and aspiring to be here one day. And here I am.
And it's great to talk to you because, I've worked for the British Esports Federation over the years. I'm doing this full time at Esports News UK now. I do a little bit of freelance for their weekly newsletter. But you've done some stuff at the British Esports Student Champs, right? That's collegiate. You did the finals at Nottingham's Confetti X last year. What was that like?
I think we've kind of overlapped a little bit when you stopped being with them. That's kind of when I got in. But I have been working as a freelance with British Esports, since they were a federation and previously an association. And this is my 4th year with them. So this upcoming year, if I will be going to the LAN Grand Finals, it will be my 4th Grand Final. First year I was there as an interviewer, then as a host and caster for 2 years in a row. And this year I'm currently casting Apex Legends and Valorant a little bit.
How do you find that? Is it nice working with at the collegiate level with the students? It's obviously a different level.
I think it's safe to say that it's probably one of my favorite opportunities that I have constant, and it's so interesting to see how the scene has grown so much over the past 4 years. Not just the level of the organization side of the tournament, but the player levels themselves. In the first few years, you would get 1 or 2 teams that would be on a completely different level, but nowadays you get like maybe 10 to 12 teams per each esport titles just showing us they can play at the highest level, and they maybe even might find themselves in a tier 2 slot competing with some of the best.
And talking of a higher level, so you've worked at the International Esports Federation finals, I think, last year, and that was in Romania.
Yes.
So it's the IESF. What was your work there? Was you a host? Because I know they did a Counter-Strike tournament. I think they had an orchestra playing the Counter-Strike theme and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was absolutely amazing. It was the opening ceremony. I was there as a Dota 2 caster. Dota, one of my favorite video games alongside Counter-Strike and Valorant. And I had the opportunity of hosting this upcoming, it's quite a disservice to say an upcoming esports, Mobile Legends Bang Bang, which is the most streamed and watched esport in 2023. I think they have a huge community in Southeast Asia, and they had the highest numbers of the World Esport Championship, so it was my honor to play a small part in that role as well.
I think that game's just been announced at the Esports World Cup this year in Saudi.
Yeah.
So what was that like as well? Because you're from Romania, so to go and be part of that esports event in Romania, that must have been nice for you.
It was incredible going home in front of a home crowd, and just because a lot of people in Romania don't know me for my work as an esports caster, as I mostly present and host and cast in English. Going back there, people will be like, "Wait, you're actually Romanian?" I was like, "Yeah, this is what I call home." So it was a very feel-good feeling for me, as 10 years ago I competed in qualifiers to qualify for the World Esports Championship.
Do you have any favourite Romanian players or esports talent that you followed?
Yes, definitely. Over the years, I think when I was younger, specifically Teg, the Elder Gods, were one of our best Counter-Strike teams. This is back in Counter-Strike Source 1.6 days. Afterwards, we had Nightend, which was our StarCraft 2 player. He was a top 3 player for a few years, around 2011. And most recently, I have to say, Ime in Counter-Strike is doing an amazing job, and now has transitioned to CS2. With Navi, just recently qualified to the Major. I gotta mention Odoamne.
I was just going to say, is Odoamne Romanian? Because I thought he was, yeah.
Fun fact, his nickname, I might be giving away his secret here, if you translate it in English from Romanian, it means, "Oh God."
What, Odoamne?
Yeah. So, a lot of Romanian talent, and we get more and more over the last few years. In Counter-Strike right now, if you look at the top 20, 30 player list, we get 5, 6 professional players. We have Volt playing for, I believe.
Yeah, I forgot about Volt.
Yeah, he was.
Well, is he I don't know if he's dual nationality, UK and Romanian.
So I think he's Romanian, but has lived for a big part of his life in the UK. Yeah. But I just saw him the other day with one of my friends, Pop the Caster, doing an interview in Romanian. So he's still very much Romanian. We also, Counter-Strike is the game that has been at the forefront of Romanian esports since the beginning of the millennium.
And how did you get into esports, WaXeN? Like a bit about your story as well.
I loved playing video games when I was younger. And then when I was about 12 or 13, I would go to internet cafe lessons, essentially ICT lessons, but private. And we wouldn't really learn ICT, we'd just go there to play video games, sort of like a LAN environment. And everybody would just play Counter-Strike 1.6. That was my first true esports love. And I played, and PGL, who is now one of the biggest tournament organizers in the world, around 15 years ago, and before that, they were the prime league in Romania. That's how they started. They were organizing a national gaming league, essentially the equivalent of the Premier League, but for esports in Romania. So we signed up, we played a few seasons, then Counter-Strike Global Offensive came around, and we did a transition. And as the years progressed, I found my passion for performing, and I decided, wow, well, I like performing on stage, and I love esports. Why don't I combine them both and do what I love, host, present, and perform on stage for the esports crowds.
When was this? When did you first start?
So I would say the first attempt I had was back in 2016 when I was still in Romania, and with my move to the UK to study for university, that kind of really facilitated, because yes, the UK esports scene hasn't been as big as Sweden or Denmark over the last 20 years, but still much bigger than the Romanian one. So that's how I started to slowly find my spot in the esports scene in the UK, with the help of British esports, of course. And Elliot Bond has been a great, I think, a friend of both of ours.
Yeah, shout out to Elliot. He's at Giant X now.
Yes, he is, and he's doing a great job. He's very busy nowadays, but he was one of the people that really pushed me to get out of my comfort zone and keep pursuing this as a career.
He pushed me out of my comfort zone as well, Elliot, if you're watching this, because when I was doing content at British Esports, I obviously did a lot of articles. When the pandemic hit, Elliot sent an email around to everyone saying, we should do more streams, because, you know, we're in the pandemic. And Elliot was right, but I had so much on my work plate. I was like, oh my God, managing multiple streams a week now. But he did the right thing, and British Esports did really well with his streams, and as a team, we did well. Anyway, enough about me. But what are your goals as well for the future? You know, what do you want to do in esports?
One of the things that I really love is working with grassroots across Europe, I suppose, because this is where I'm based. And no matter how many big events I'm going to have the opportunity of casting and hosting, I still want to be connected to the very basis of what makes esports great. And that's why I love being here at Epic 41, because they understand what esports was like 10 years ago, and I still feel those vibes that, you know, I grew up with, and I love it, because nowadays everything is very polished. That's the standards we want to get sponsors, and we have to be very clean, and I love that side as well. But for me, it's a yin and yang. We gotta be good, but we still have to stick true to ourselves. So that's like my goal in esports. And obviously, I would love to have the opportunity of attending more international events and showcasing what I can do on stage as a host, and hopefully more opportunities in the games that I love, which are Counter-Strike, Dota, and Valorant.
It's interesting you used the word polished there, because I was speaking to someone a few days ago who said, oh, Epic LAN, you know, they were here on the Thursday, they were like, oh, it seems more polished this time round. I was like, is it? I don't want it to be. No. I like the vibes, I like the community vibes. I don't want it to be like a LEC stage, exactly. You know, but it's a nice balance. I think it's professionally done, and you've still got those community vibes. You know, they haven't paid me to say this, by the way, Epic LAN. It's just my honest views.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to agree. And again, for me, this is the first time attending an event that I grew up watching, and it's like it's everything I could have dreamed for, and even more. So it's exceptional. And I feel like in the UK, the scene has grown so much only because of events such as Epic LAN. I think this year they have like over 30 or almost 40 Counter-Strike teams competing. Valorant, I think, with 14 teams. So the scene is definitely growing, and we saw the success that Into the Breach had at the Counter-Strike Major previously, and now the community is getting bigger and bigger. We have Mezzi playing for Vitality, the #1 team in the world. So yeah, UK esports is going back to where it should have been for, well, a little over 10 years now.
Yeah, it's interesting. Vlad, is there anything else you'd like to add? Anything
No,
I might
honestly,
have missed?
Dom, thank you so much for having me, and I'm a big fan of Esports News UK, and I love seeing your articles pop up from time to time on my feed, and keep up the good work. Thank you for having me here, and I hope we can meet again soon, maybe at a different event for a different type of interview.
100%. Thank you for your time as well. Thanks to Epic Land for letting me come here as a press guest, and thanks to Predator Gaming as well for sponsoring my content this month, and I'll be back soon with more.